What is going on, Solo fam? My name is John Solo. The month of March is officially over, and with that came the end of the March Madness tournament, or as my dad likes to call it, Spring Stupidity. He thinks he's funny. For those who don't live in the US, March Madness is a collegiate basketball tournament where teams from all over the country compete for what I'm assuming is a big trophy. And of course, to keep the pockets of the rich old white guys who run the NCAA lined with cash from advertisers. I didn't make a bracket for March Madness because I truly could not care less. That being said, a few weeks into the tournament, a much more exciting bracket started making the rounds, a Disney Pixar bracket. It is exactly what it sounds like. It pits all of your favorite Disney and Pixar movies against each other. It doesn't have all of them, but it's got the ones that are talked about, I'd say, the most among people in this realm of YouTube. A few of you were asking me to do a video about it, and I thought that was a cool idea. I already went through the bracket, but I'm keeping my final four and the champion a secret to the end, so make sure you watch all the way through. Maybe hit that like button while you're at it. Starting at the bottom left, Nightmare Before Christmas does not even belong on here. I don't like Tim Burton, I hate Halloween, and I love Christmas. Therefore, I'm confused why anyone would want Tim Burton to turn Christmas into Halloween. So Beauty and the Beast won by default. I put Zootopia over Mulan. I really like both, but I guess Zootopia just hits me in the feels a little bit more, and that's what Disney movies are about, right? Exploiting your emotions. Little Mermaid and Pocahontas are real close in my book, but growing up, I had three sisters who were obsessed with The Little Mermaid, so I'm all nostalgic about that one. So it wins. For some reason, they had to make two of my all-time favorites go against each other, so this one was hard. But ultimately, Hercules is about a skinny dude who gets swole, beats up monsters, and gets the girl. And that is the ideal life. None of this making wishes to get stuff. Though I admit, that would be dope too. This might be controversial to some, but I put Moana over Frozen. I know Frozen is considered one of the all-time greats, but Moana is a beautiful film. Plus, it has The Rock in it. Also, I thought Olaf's Christmas Adventure, or whatever it was that played before Coco, was straight up terrible, so that left a bad taste in my mouth. Big Hero 6 beats out Tangled for me, can't help it, Baymax is just too lovable. Lilo and Stitch over Princess and the Frog any day of the week. There's a reason it got its own show, which was also sick. I think that most people would agree that Lion King beats out Tarzan, so I'm not gonna explain that one. On to the other side, Up is gonna beat Brave every time. They're both awesome, but that opening sequence in Up reminds me of my grandparents, so I'm attached to that one. I've got Toy Story 2 beating the first Toy Story. Again, love them both, but Toy Story 2 is my favorite. It's got Wheezy, man. Coco eliminates Cars 2 because obviously, it's not even an opinion that it's better, it's just a fact. I don't understand why so many people hate On the Good Dinosaur. I thought it was an awesome movie when I first saw it, and I stand firm by that assessment to this day. That being said, no matter how much I love it, it isn't quite at a Toy Story 3 level, so it didn't make the cut. I was never really a fan of Bug's Life, maybe because I don't like bugs. As a British guy might say, I think they're nasty creatures. Vile things. Vile, nasty creature things. Then again, so are rats, so I guess it just came down to the story being better. Finding Nemo versus Inside Out was a close match. Finding Nemo came out when I was in second grade, and I remember going to see it at the theaters for my friend Austin's birthday. We stopped at Toys R Us and picked up some Yu-Gi-Oh cards beforehand. Man, has the time gone by. And then there was a tornado warning, so they shut the movie down about halfway through it for like 20 minutes. I remember specifically they actually told us, we're gonna restart the movie, but there's still a tornado watch, so you might want to just leave. And nobody left, so I guess that shows you how good Finding Nemo is. Obviously, I've got some good memories associated with the movie, but Inside Out was a real masterpiece, and I think one of Pixar's all-time greats, so it had to go forward. In the case of Monsters Inc. versus Cars, Monsters Inc. will always win. The characters are just too lovable, and to be honest, the direction that Pixar went with Cars, all the spin-offs and merchandising and whatnot, kind of ruined it for me. And then we have The Incredibles over WALL-E, and that's because Incredibles is an amazing film. It's got great characters, a great plot, the music is especially dope. There's something so cool about the retro future design as well. It just comes together so perfectly. I really enjoyed WALL-E, the soundtrack to that was awesome too, now that I think about it, but the family of superheroes is just hard to beat. And that's the end of round one. Now that you've heard my thoughts on all the movies still on the list, I'm just going to talk about the matchups that were close or I feel strongly about. I placed Moana over Big Hero 6, but I don't really feel strongly in either direction. I've seen Moana more recently and I've done a lot more research on its development, so I guess when I watch it, it's kind of cooler to see all the pieces come together because I have an idea of what went into it. And again, The Rock is in it. I had to put Hercules over The Little Mermaid. I've got some crazy nostalgia about both, and The Little Mermaid was my first Messed Up Origins episode, but I would pick Hercules every time. It's an awesome movie. I actually just watched it last night. All the matchups on this side, I just went with my instincts on because some of them were just ranked too close in my head. Is it weird I took the bracket this seriously? Going on to round 3, I feel like I should explain Toy Story 2 over Toy Story 3 because some individuals may feel very passionate about it being the reverse. I just like Toy Story 2 more, and unlike the third movie, it didn't have 11 years of hype behind it and didn't feel so much like fan service. Toy Story 3 is great, but I'm just weird about things, and if something feels too manufactured or tailored to a certain audience, I'm gonna feel weird about it. It's one of those things you talk to a psychiatrist about. I put The Incredibles over Inside Out because while I love movies that have emotional manipulation down to a science, no sarcasm, The Incredibles is just more fun in my opinion, and I'm gonna feel a lot better after watching it than I will after watching Inside Out. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Please don't be angry. Whoa! That could have been cool. The Lion King beats out Moana in my eyes because of its OG status. It's not only a fantastic movie, it's one of those flagship films, widely considered to be one of Disney's greatest of all time, so I wanted to give it the respect it deserves. And now we're in the final 4. These are essentially my favorite Disney and Pixar movies of all time. On this side is Hercules vs. The Lion King. This one wasn't that tough for me. My goal since I was a kiddo has always been to get swole like Hercules and collect the Hercules plates from McDonald's. Nothing has changed, Mom. I still want those plates. Some of you might be surprised by this, but in my eyes, The Incredibles is ranked over Toy Story 2. This is about as close a matchup as you can get though. Buzz and Woody have been my homies for life. And while nostalgia has clearly played a factor in some of these placements, you can't let something like that cloud your mind when you get to the final 4. I don't know if The Incredibles would win every time the two face off, but today it does. Overall, I think it's a better movie. And now we have reached the end. It is Disney versus Pixar. Hercules versus The Incredibles. I can't put into words how much I love these movies. I've tried throughout the video, but it's hard to find the vocabulary required to describe Disney magic. I grew up with both of these films, and I love the values exemplified in each story. Hard work, determination, destroying architecture with your bare hands. When it comes down to it though, if I were gonna pick a movie to watch with the family or a pack of Disney YouTubers like myself, I would choose The Incredibles. That is my number 1 choice. I'm curious though, what do you guys think of my bracket and how different was yours from mine? I was thinking if we got enough submissions, it would be cool to go through some of your guys' brackets and see what you place at number 1, or maybe how low you place Nightmare Before Christmas. If you go to my Twitter or Facebook page, I'll have the blank bracket for you to fill out yourself, and if you want, send it to my Twitter. Don't send it to my Facebook, certainly don't send it to my business email. Send it to my Twitter, because that's where it's gonna get seen. There's always at least one person who says, well, I didn't have that platform, so I just sent it to wherever I deemed appropriate. Don't be that guy. Links are in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button as it helps the channel out a whole lot and it lets me know you care, and subscribe for new Disney content every week. And if you haven't yet, check out the newest episode of Messed Up Origins where I dive into the depressing story that inspired the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Until next time, my name is John Solo, and remember, John shot first.